Good morning. Over the past couple of weeks in our Bible classes at King of Prussia, the couple Aquila and Priscilla have come up on 3 or 4 different occasions. And it's caused me to think about the friendship that they had with the Apostle Paul. For those of you who don't know their story, they were a married couple from the city of Rome, and they were expelled in AD 49 when the emperor expelled all of the Jews from Rome. They migrated to the city of Corinth, and it was there that they met Paul. They found they had some things in common. First of all, they were all tent makers, so they began to work together in their vocation. But they were also devout Christians, and so they began to serve together in their ministry. And Paul obviously had a lot of trust in them because when the preacher Apollos came to Corinth, and it was obvious that he was very talented, but he needed more grounding in the scriptures, he entrusted Priscilla and Aquila with the responsibility to teach him further. When it came time for Paul to leave Corinth and he made the decision to go to Ephesus, he asked Aquila and Priscilla to go with him. And they did. They picked up and they moved. They continued to serve with him there. And in fact, we learned that the church in Ephesus met at their house. They were instrumental in saving him in Ephesus when he got in trouble. It looked like that the officials were going to, and the crowd was going to kill him in Ephesus. They helped to get him out of town safely. We know that because when Paul wrote the book of Romans, in the very last chapter, when he's sending greetings to the Romans, he asks the church there to greet Priscilla and Aquila. And he says, they're my co-workers in the faith, and they risked their lives for me. Now, what's interesting is they must have left Ephesus and come back to Rome for some period of time. Otherwise, why would he have asked the Roman church to greet them? The next time we hear about them is several years later. It's at the end of Paul's life. He's writing his final letter to Timothy. He's in prison, and it's pretty obvious he's probably not going to make it through this one. And at the very end of the letter, he says to Timothy, greet Aquila and Priscilla. And that's interesting because at this point in time, Timothy is in Ephesus. So it appears that they left Rome, went back to Ephesus. Maybe it was their retirement home. But here they are, now encouraging Paul's son in the faith. And he asks Timothy to remember them. We all have friends who have played significant roles in our life. Sometimes when we were younger, sometimes a little later in life. People who, for a season, we are together with, and then life separates us. Sometimes they move on, sometimes they pass on. And I wondered this week, how often do we step back to say thank you for the role that those people meant to us in shaping us, in protecting us, in giving us insights, in giving us comfort, in giving us support in times when we needed it most. This week, I want you to think about who some of those friends might be in your life. And take a moment to reach out to them. Tell them thank you for how they have helped you become the person you are today. Have a great week.